Okay, so I got my intake built today. I literally started from scratch with a bare lower manifold and just started building from there up. I tested a bunch of injectors and kind of cherry picked 4 injectors. I stripped the wiring loom down and modified it. This is kind of a variation of a 5-tech. I'm not running water, and I'm doing that kind of intentionally because I don't want to be heating the plenum. I'm trying to keep this thing as cool as possible. I'm going to be fighting pre-ignition since I'm running the high compression head. So this has got the later model 95 throttle and upper plenum on it. You'll notice that it doesn't say iTech on it here. This is the later model plenum. And the main reason for doing that is that I don't know if this actually flows more air. They say that it does. But if you look at the ductwork, this is the ducting for the later model system. And it is, pretty significantly larger than the iTech stuff. But the big thing that I've noticed is this is the airflow meter for your standard iTech. And if you look at the size of that compared to the size of that, now bear in mind, you've got an obstruction here, so I don't know how much more this would actually flow than that, but I'm guessing it's, some. But that's the big argument, is that this airflow meter, and that's what I've got here. I've got the 95 airflow meter hooked up to the standard iTech air cleaner. So it's kind of a combination of parts that I've put together here. I just happen to have 2 of these here, but I'm using this one. This is the later model, larger airflow meter with the larger ductwork, and that will be mating up here to the single throttle. As you know, the iTech has double butterflies. This is a single butterfly. So, and I'm going to be running EGR, so I've got my thermal valve here in the thermostat housing, and so I'll just I've got vacuum, ported vacuum off of the bottom of the throttle here. It'll come up to the thermal valve, and then when it gets up to temperature, it'll kick that thermal valve, and so the EGR will basically run as intended, stock, normal. And the reason I'm keeping that is with the higher compression engines, or the higher compression, heads on the 2.6s, my experience is always that you get pre-ignition problems. It wants to ping. The thing will push 180 or so PSI, and it's going to want to ping. So I'm going to be, like I said, eliminating the coolant into the intake plenum to keep the air cool, and I'm going to be running EGR to try to combat the pre-ignition. So anyway, sun's about to go down. That's it for today. I'm going to work on the head and finishing up the bottom end tomorrow.